Welcome to the Now. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm John Reisinger.
It's a Nintendo Switch day, you guys. Critics have been putting their reviews. Yeah, spirit hands, clap, clap, claps, all those things.
That's ASL.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know ASL, but
It's about all I know.
spirit fingers. Critics have been putting their reviews of Nintendo's new hardware out over the last couple of days. We've actually got our impressions up as well, in case you wonder how we're spending our money. And now it's time to answer that so important question. Is the Nintendo Switch hardware any good?
Is it?
Well,
We're gonna answer. Hardware reviews are a little bit trickier to collect than video game reviews. Not as many of them give a direct score, so it's difficult to sum up what critics think of the Switch in a simple number.
I mean, it makes sense. There's a lot to dig into, and it's more about what you do with the hardware, but it's still like, you have to read, make educated analysis. The number is so easy.
Yeah.
Come on, really, guys? This is to be expected. There are so many more factors in play when reviewing an entire machine, rather than just one piece of software, especially at launch when you're reviewing a console's potential just as much as you're talking about its current reality.
And really, potential is the big sticking point with Switch. The consensus is that the console lives up to what it promises, a versatile, portable, handheld that happens to be missing quite a few features.
Yeah, if you're looking for some hard scores, there are a few of those. Attack of the Fanboy gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
Yep.
The Guardian gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
Yep.
Engadget gave it an 84, presumably out of 100. Telegraph gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Tech Radar gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Nerdist gave it 3.5 New Donk City burritos out of 5. And Wired gave it 5 out of 10. They weren't really fans.
I don't think Nerdist is taking this very seriously either.
What gives you that idea?
But of course, there's a whole lot of other reviews out there from all over the spectrum without scores. So let's dig into what those people are saying.
Yeah, because it's the meat of the discussion. Overall, reviewers are praising the concept of the Switch, the flexibility of the Joy-Cons, and the quality of the screen itself.
Yeah, on the downside, the Switch was knocked for the limited hardware, the hidden cost of things like micro SD cards, and some reviewers had issues with the Joy-Cons and the fact that the Switch is pretty limited feature-wise at launch.
As for the Switch's main selling point, portability, reviews positive in that regard. As we all know by now, the Switch can function as a traditional console when it's docked. You play it on the TV, but the system can also be removed from that dock and played in handheld mode or with the screen propped up via its kickstand.
For many reviewers, that versatility was the highlight of the system and makes it worth the price of admission.
Engadget said the ability to easily swap between different modes just by dropping the system into its dock is what makes it truly special. Nintendo doubled down on the Wii U's best feature, being able to play games entirely away from your TV. But unlike that console, which relied on a clunky Fisher-Price-esque gamepad, the Switch is a lot more refined. Yes, Fisher-Price was a good way to describe the gamepad.
Big. The Telegraph added, what it lacks in sheer technological grunt, it makes up for with charm and innovation. Throwing mobile device content to a television has been done extensively before, but rarely with such little delay or effort.
Of course, the Switch also works as a handheld, and reviewers noted that in many cases, the handheld form actually supported better performance than docked mode, and we've definitely seen that in evidence with games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, where we have had frame rate drops on TV, but not on the handheld mode nearly as much.
That's unexpected. Eurogamer loved the system in handheld mode, writing, the display oozes quality, giving a vibrant, clear image that fits the console's high launch price. Contrast levels are excellent out of the box, a league away from the dull, low-contrast TN panel used on the Wii U.
Not everyone was a fan of the hardware, though. Polygon knocked the Switch's hardware, saying it was less than impressive for a dedicated home console, possibly because it's not a dedicated home console.
Ooh, yeah. Polygon wrote in its review, these are mobile components designed for tablets and smartphones. Granted, it marks a step up from the Wii U's PowerPC-based architecture, but the Switch is not in the same category as the PS4 and Xbox One.
The Guardian also noted that you shouldn't expect cutting-edge graphics on the Switch. Its reviewer wrote, on a larger display, it's very clear this console is far behind Xbox One and PS4 in terms of visual fidelity. The graphics have that familiar Nintendo look. Cartoony, slightly hazy, but also artful. Titles like Legend of Zelda, Mario Kart, and later Super Mario Odyssey do look beautiful, but in a more stylized way than the photorealistic aspirations of other consoles. Honestly, I think if we're gonna look at any sort of contrast, like right at the moment, that's especially appropriate, you'd look at Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild compared to something like Horizon Zero Dawn. And you do see a difference, it's there.
Yeah. As for the Switch's controls, reviewers had the most to say about the Joy-Cons, which makes sense. They're a key feature of the console, and they're where Switch's versatility truly lies.
But that versatility does come at a little bit of a cost, according to your reviewers, and it means that Switch often walks the line between multiple design compromises all at once.
Tech Radar writes, ultimately these multiple roles mean the controllers end up being jacks of all trades and master of none. None of the controller configurations are unusable, but we've used more comfortable controllers in the past.
For instance, since the Joy-Con was designed to turn sideways, it makes the joystick placement a little bit awkward on the right Joy-Con sometimes, which was noted by GamesBeat. They said, when your thumb tries to go from controlling the camera to performing an attack, you'll have to scrunch up your digit in ways that I found sometimes painful in the first day of using the Switch.
Gotta work out those thumbs, you know, get some new muscle memory.
Get swole.
Yeah, and that leads to one of the big complaints seen from multiple outlets, and one that we noticed ourselves. There are quite a few hidden costs associated with Nintendo Switch. On a basic level, the system does what it needs to do, but to get the most out of the convenience it promises, you really do need some extra peripherals.
Which, being fair, it really applies to pretty much every console. Even PS4 and Xbox One, it's advised that you get an external hard drive because on those, even 500 gigabytes wasn't enough, but we're working with 32 here. As Wired noted, you can't charge the Joy-Cons while playing in TV mode. You'll need to buy a separate charging grip for that. You'll also need a micro SD card, probably to make up for the Switch's smaller 32 gigabytes of internal storage. Those will run you maybe $60 if you want 128 gigabytes. And you might even want another dock for another TV so you can play on whichever you like.
Wired and other reviewers felt like the Switch has a ton of potential, but it's not there yet straight out of the box.
As Wired put it, the company's new toy isn't finished yet. I'll come back and update this review and the rating when the bugs are ironed out, when the software runs properly, and when the machine actually functions as intended. Which could partially be that the network only came up today. The system just got its day one update. Zelda just got its first update, and so a lot of reviews were made on not entirely finished versions of the software. It's already made some changes.
Beta
For
reviews.
one, you couldn't access the eShop until today. For two, the new Zelda update fixed some of the frame rate issues. There's a lot of things that I think could have been pushed out sooner to improve reviewer experiences.
But of course, just about any console is handicapped a bit at launch, so many reviews are going to have to be based on a system's potential. And that's one area where critics feel like the Nintendo Switch is unrivaled.
The Guardian summed up the Switch this way: whatever happens, Nintendo has once again done its idiosyncratic best to challenge the way we think about games hardware. Right now, it has the best launch game in at least a decade, and enough compelling possibilities on the horizon to warrant enthusiasm and hope. But let's be clear, not Horizon Zero Dawn. Just a Horizon.
So, according to critics, if you're looking to take your console experience on the go, then the Switch does exactly that. And it does it very well.
Very, very well. It's a really cool experience to just walk up to the DV, pull it out, and walk away with a full console game.
There are some hiccups with the overall experience and a lack of features at the moment, but those are things that can be, filled in with system updates or, buying more peripherals.
There's also the fact that it has Breath of the Wild, which really is one of the highest rated games of all time already. But then, again, so does the Wii U.
Yeah. That does it for our review roundup of the Nintendo Switch. What do you guys think of these early reviews? Will you be waiting on the Switch? Or are you gonna go pick it up at launch?
And if you are waiting for additional features? Are you waiting for additional games? Let us know what those are in the comments. For more updates on all things Switch, remember to like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to the know. And because it is Switch Day, we're live streaming all day from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. So join us on the live stream and we'll be showing off a bunch of the launch games so you can decide if you're thinking of picking it up, what other games besides Zelda, because that's pretty much a given at this point, you might want to get for in the comments. And for more updates on all things Switch, remember to like this video, subscribe to the know, and since tomorrow is Switch Day, motherfucker, it's today.
You broke the veil.
I did. I broke the veil.
Want me to do my thing too?
Yes. Sorry.
God, make me read again.
I know.